how to relate and attract money to us. In the building of a consciousness for money, the first thing is to realize that there is an abundance of money in the world now. When we stop and think for a moment, we know that this statement is true. Should we have any doubt about it, all we need to do is visit the United States Treasury or some great banking institution and see the vast piles of money which they have in storage. We can also take a stroll on Broadway and visit some of the lobster palaces along the Great White Way, or some of the fashionable hotels and restaurants on 5th Street, and we will have no difficulty whatever in coming away perfectly satisfied that there is an abundance of money in the world. How can we help being satisfied of this truth when we see the men in such places pull out of their pockets rolls of money big as 2 fists, containing nothing less than $100 bills, which they keep for small change, most of their roll being composed of $500 and $1,000 bills, and then see them give the waiter a $500 bill with which to pay for a dinner costing perhaps $150, telling the waiter to keep the change. While we realize that this method of reckless, extravagant, prodigal expenditure is destructive, yet we cannot help but admire the opulent consciousness of these spenders in New York's gay life. I hear someone say, yes, there is plenty of money in the world, but the other fellows have it, all while I do not have any. Why do the other fellows have all the money? And why is our supply so limited? This is not the result of chance, accident, or luck. It is the normal effect of a perfectly natural law which every life uses either intelligently or ignorantly, consciously or unconsciously, constructively or destructively. The method of using this law by each life determines its effect on the environment. Those who are rich have recognized their oneness with the abundance of supply. They developed that recognition either in former incarnations and so were born into an environment of abundance in this one, or else they have developed it in this incarnation. When they developed it is immaterial insofar as the fact of their having developed it is concerned. When we have lack, it is because we have recognized our separation from this abundance of supply, either in former incarnations and therefore were born into an environment of lack in this one, or else we have unconsciously and ignorantly developed that consciousness in this incarnation. For unless we had recognized in our consciousness our separation from the abundance of supply, we never could have been separated from it on the material or objective plane. The second step, therefore, is for us to begin to create a consciousness that is possible for us here and now to relate with the abundance of supply just as well as anyone else. The only way such a relationship can be established is through the people and things on the material plane, because the universal law can only manifest in objective form in the material world through them. Because of this fact, many have obtained the idea that they must manipulate people and things in order to get the money, but that is where we have made a big mistake. While it is true that under the law of force we can and do manipulate people and things, just as the chickens run after and snatch the food from each other, and we can achieve temporary success and obtain large fortunes as long as we exert the stronger force, Yet the time always comes somewhere down the line of our cosmic journey when some other life is able to manipulate the law of force in a stronger way than we, and then our fortunes begin to crumble and melt away. Under the law of harmonious attraction, the manipulation of people and things belongs to God, the great universal law, and is a part of the work with which we have absolutely nothing to do. This is a statement which will require careful study and consideration in order to begin to appreciate its great importance and wonderful action. Our business is first, last, and all the time, through the power of our inspiration, intuition, and revelation, to create and fill our imagination with this image and vision of the abundance of supply and our oneness with it, using our intellect with which to hold it so strongly and powerfully that all the poverty and lack of the objective plane cannot dim it, and then go on with the work in which we are now engaged on the objective plane, like the streetcar driver did, doing it with all the harmonious and attractive source energy we are able to generate, and permit God, the universal law, to do the manipulating of people and things. When we do this, we will find that one by one, new avenues, new and increased lines of transference will open up to us and keep pace with our increasing development, just as they did in the streetcar driver's case and many others similar ones. The principle, the law under which God works through man, is exactly the same as it is under which he works through the other kingdoms. The lily gets the vision, and then God, the great universal law, has man plant the seed, then water, cultivate and take care of it. God, the universal law, can only manifest on the material plane through the people and things of this plane, because there is nothing else here. When we understand this truth and attend to our part of the work, and let God attend to his, working together in perfect harmony, he does for man what he does for the lily, and the money as well as everything else, which comes to us under this law of harmonious attraction, comes to us because it wants to come, and not because we make it come against its desire. The true law of success is the law of harmonious attraction. Many lives are unconsciously working under this law most of the time. Sometimes they ignorantly and unconsciously live in the currents of the law of force for a while, then they wonder why bad luck comes to them. When living under the law of harmonious attraction, they belong to the class of people to which the world refers as being so lucky that they could fall into the water without getting wet. When such people get caught in the negative currents of the law of force, they frequently do not know how to get out of them, and then their condition is pitiable. I was teaching a class in abundance once, in which there were several physicians and other professional men. One of the physicians told me the following story. He was a specialist and used to treat 50 or more patients a day. He had so much work that it was necessary to employ assistants. When he was going to his office each day, he always saw it filled in his imagination with patients, and he always found them there on his arrival. One day, he was taken with a severe illness and was kept from his work for several months. During the time he was sick, he saw his patients scattered and his practice dwindling to practically nothing. The result was that when he was able to take up his work again, he had lost about all his patients, and although it had been 3 years since that illness when he came to me, he had not gotten back more than 25% of his former business. When I showed him how he had used the same law of unconscious imaging but with pictures and ideas directly opposite to what he really wanted, to destroy his practice that he originally used to build it. He at once realized this and went to work to rebuild under the law of harmonious attraction, and within the next 45 days it increased to 4/5 of as much as it ever had been. Under this law, the money we accumulate comes to us on a plane of consciousness so high that we cannot lose it, because no force is strong enough to displace the power we have under the law of harmonious attraction. Under this law, we have power without force, while under the law of force, we have force without power, other than such as might or force gives us. But under that law, there is always some stronger force, some stronger might, which rises up at most inopportune times and displaces our force and our might.